Now that you have your piece for the dial cut to size and sanded down to 0.75 exactly, we're going to come back to the same jig. And that just pushes right into the corner. And set it up just like you did the first time with the hinges, knob, and handle. There's the dial. Just put the front ones in and screw it down snug. That's too loose, so just play with it until you get it fairly tight. I'll move that back a little more. Now as you can see, it is lifting it up. So like I said, lift this up off the ground, off the base of the table just a little. And I want that a little tighter. We don't want this thing to go moving around. There, and then I just hit it down so it's nice and flat. That should be good enough. It's not going to go anywhere. Now we're back here at the computer and you can kind of see the CNC machine in the back. Now we're going to load the code for the dial. Okay, first things first, make sure the machine is warmed up. You've already zeroed it and you've warmed up the spindle and now it's back waiting to do the next part. So again, we look at our paper. Where is the dial? Dial safe is number 5. So down here at current offset, we want offset number 5, enter. And to make sure that's correct, and I always want you to check, come down here to the bottom and I'm going to type in some text. X0, Y0, enter, and that should move the head to the center. Just take a quick glance. All right, that looks correct. It looks like it's in the middle of that. That is the right offset. Everything is good. Now we have to do the Z. Now, normally I would take the pad and put it on top of that piece and do its offset. It's Z, 0. On the dial only, we're going to zero it from the base of the project. This is the only piece of this happens. So what you need to do, we need to get out of this area that I'm writing a text and typing. So I'm going to just click in this box 2 or 3 times, to kind of clear that out. Then I can move the head with the arrows. So down, up, left, right, and so forth. Now remember, this is referenced from the bottom is this way. So my computer technically should be this way, so the up will be that way. Down, I hit the down arrow and now it's that way. So it's a little bit weird to think about with this turned this direction, but you'll figure it out. I just need to go down, and so I hit the down arrow. I need to get it off of the top of that piece. Then I'm going to put my pad on it on that table right there. Make sure it's right under it, and that's where I'm going to do my Z0. Now you press the button again, Smart Tool Setup, right there. Smart Tool Setup, is the spindle over the tool pad? Yes. Am I running a program with multiple tools? No. I have the correct bit in, and I can only hit no if I have the correct bit in there now. If I don't, just hit yes, and it will ask to change the bit before it starts its actual procedure. But since I know it's correct, I can hit and get away with no. Now it'll come down, touch the pad, then I can move the pad out of the way and actually get started to cut. Very good. It found the 0 and I put the pad back. Now we're going to load the code. So I'm going to go ahead and get the head moved back to its starting position. There's no, you don't have to, but I just like it out of the way. I'm going to hit Park Spindle and that'll just move it back. Now let's find the code. Load code. And remember, it's desktop. Scroll down to the wood safe G code. That's a file. And then all of my G codes are here. I'm doing wood safe dial. It says it's even 5x9. That's the correct size. Open. And if I am here and I put my fingers on the pad and spread and I can get a little closer, you can see what we're doing here. So you can see all the different tool paths there. But this should be correct. Everything is ready. We always load the code last, and now we're ready to start. So by default, it always asks, is this the right bit? And we already told that it is. Hit OK. Off it goes. Here's our finished dial, and as you can see, just like the handles, knob, and hinge, it did manage to cut out the center, but it left it inside. so that I can cut it out with my router. So we have to do the same thing. Now be careful with a 1/4 inch bit. This gap in here is only a 1/4 inch, so be careful. If I dig in and go this way, I'm going to mar the edge. So try to, just careful as you can. So you try not to hit the edge of that if possible. We can sand some of that out, but be careful. Now let's just take the router and zip it out. Now what we need to do is sand the whole thing, paying special attention to right here, because our next step is to take this to the laser engraver and laser on the numbers that you're going to use to spin the dial. So sand all this fuzzy stuff off. Don't worry about the back, you'll never see it. Sand the edges, round off, soften this sharp corner.